Today's video is brought to you by PatriotPost.us, the #1 start for all things news and opinion related. There is a link to them in the description box below, so when you head on over there, check them out and subscribe. Tell them I sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Donald Trump aiming to increase the criminal alien arrest rate by 35% this year. Now, before I go any further into the story, let me back up a little bit here to explain what's happening. Some, when I say criminal alien, may be like, ABL, if they're here illegally, if they're an alien, they're a criminal already just by being here illegally. And yes, you're right. They're breaking the law already by being here illegally. However, there's a distinction between an illegal alien who is not an active gangbanger and whatnot than the gangbanger, the murderer, the rapist, the drunk driver, and people like that. Okay, people that are physically causing harm, endangering others, running drugs and human trafficking, that kind of thing is what they're aiming at. Now, if it were up to me, I would say let's get everybody up out of here that's illegal, but we got to be realistic. You're talking about like what, 30 million people, maybe 11 minimum, but probably 30 with kids and everything. It gets kind of complicated, but I digress. The whole issue here are the aliens that are actively criminals that are being shielded by some of these sanctuary cities, quote unquote, in the sanctuary states. Now, in order to achieve his goal, he's going to have 100 special ops guys deployed all over the country. These guys are from a group called BORTAC. I don't know what that stands for. Hopefully I can find it and link to it in the box, but they're going to be aiding ICE in their efforts. They're going to be deployed to what? Just a few cities here. You have Detroit, Chicago, New York, Newark, New Jersey, San Francisco, New Orleans, LA, Atlanta, Houston, and Boston. Some of these cities are officially sanctuary cities or in a sanctuary state or both, basically the same thing. And some have not necessarily declared themselves as sanctuaries, but don't cooperate with ICE properly, or they're a really high traffic area for illegal alien activity. You know, Chicago, I know for one, there's a lot of drugs, human trafficking. Same thing with Atlanta. A lot of drugs come out of Atlanta and go all over the country. It's a big time problem. So you want to have your border patrol, your ICE, your BORTAC, on all these guys at these particular areas. Now, some may be asking, how are these criminal aliens allowed to just do whatever they want to do? Because it's one thing to not cooperate with ICE. It's a different thing to not lock up criminals. Okay, if you have a drunk driver, a drug runner, a pimp pander or whatever, they should be in jail, period, regardless of what ICE is doing. Well, what's happening in a lot of these cities is that they're releasing their criminal aliens from jail, period, because they don't want to have ICE to get involved. Okay, if you have a criminal alien in there, ICE is going to be trying to come and get that guy up out of the country, get him deported or whatever it is. So sometimes what's happening, and I'm being serious, is that the person in jail will be released early or right away to prevent them from making kind of a blip on the radar to get into the line of sight of ICE or Border Patrol or whatever it is. You understand what I'm saying? So a prime example would be, you have a criminal alien arrested on, domestic battery suspicion or driving on suspended license, something like that. They'll get released a lot of times the very next day, no bail or low bail. That's happening in New York right now. You got guys that are basically being caught and released like a fishing lure. You know, they get caught on the hook. They look at them right quick and throw them back in the water. That's pretty much what's going on in these places. And the question would be, why are they getting released so quickly? They're getting released more quickly than regular citizens would be for the very same charges. Well, like I said, they don't want to have ICE to have them in their line of sight. It's just like this show called The Wire that was on HBO. If you've not seen that, take a little bit of time out your life and go check it out. But anyway, the whole premise of the show was to talk about what's happening in Baltimore. It's centered around drugs. And one particular part of this show, they were showing a lot of the young guys selling drugs kept getting caught over and over. Here comes this brand new police chief, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. He says, hey, I have an idea. Rather than keep locking up guys all over the city for the same thing, for these drugs, let's let them have one area of the city where they can sell drugs at and the police won't bother them. Let's call it Amsterdam. This is a drug sanctuary. Okay. Now, what happened to Amsterdam? And by the way, it's Amsterdam, but one of the little dope boys pronounced it Amsterdam. So it just became known as that. But anyway, what happened in Amsterdam? Well, the rule said no violence, no drama, to sell your drugs, and that's it. What you did was you just, first of all, people that are regular citizens could not come out of their house that lived in Amsterdam because you got dope boys all over the place, junkies all over the place. It was very dangerous. It was like just not a good environment to be in. I mean, who wants to live in the drug den? Basically, nobody, but I'll move on. The whole thing was no violence. Here comes a dead body just laying on the ground. And the police were appointed. So what do the police do? Rather than saying, hey, here's a dead body in Amsterdam, come get it. And then the whole program falls apart because the thing was no violence. Here's violence. What they did was drag the body out of Amsterdam and then report it. So, hey, it didn't happen right here. It's our sanctuary is perfectly fine. That's kind of what's going on right now with these cities that have sanctuary. They don't want to admit that the sanctuary city status is causing issues. Drugs, human trafficking, just general mischief, a lot of gang activity, people being assaulted, robbed, kidnapped, the whole 9 yards. That's auto theft. All of that's going on right now in these sanctuary cities because of criminal aliens. Okay. We got to have that wall built up to keep out all the illegal aliens, tight down on the visas and all the kind of stuff that gets people in here that don't have to go through the wall or the water. They come on a plane, get all that stuff tightened up. And these criminal aliens got to get up out of here. I don't care. I don't care what's going on. I don't care about a sanctuary city and trying to do right for quote unquote people of color. Really, you're not doing right by so-called people of color. All you're doing is making it more dangerous for us to live. I've seen story after story after story after story of people that have come to this country legally being hurt by those that have come here illegally. There was a story I saw this morning. It was very sad. It was a young lady talking about how her grandmother got killed by an illegal alien, and her grandmother was a legal immigrant. Okay. So this is what's going on. A lot of legal immigrants come to this country to escape what they were going through in their previous country. So if you come to this country from, let's say, Honduras, legally, and then here come MS-13 right behind you illegally, it's like, what are we doing? I've come to this country to escape the gangs in Honduras, and they're right back on my back. So what's going on? El Salvador, Nicaragua, same thing. Mexico, same thing. I come to the United States to be a legal citizen is what they would say. I want to escape the crime and the violence and whatnot. It's weird. As I close, I want to say this. The left will talk about how the refugees are quote unquote fleeing violence and fleeing crime, open doors to everyone, but then they don't want to actually stop the people that were causing the problems in those other countries from coming over here. It's crazy. If they're fleeing from the crime and the violence, how about we keep our country free from crime and violence? I think it's more just about trying to appeal to certain peoples and to get their vote rather than keeping them safe. And if you are a president, a mayor, a senator, house rep, whatever the case may be, you have an obligation to your constituents to do right by them. And sanctuary cities and states is not doing right by them. So shout out to the Border Patrol, ICE, BORTAC, special agent guys. Get them criminal aliens up out of here. And let's get that wall built. Let's have the country be secure so we're able to live and thrive rather than looking over our shoulder to see if there is a criminal alien that was, in jail for murder or something like that, that was allowed to get out early because the local police did not want to have ICE get on their radar. You understand? I don't want that kind of person roaming around the city, roaming around the country that is known to the police just because of the whole ICE kerfuffle. Let's have law and order be the name of the game. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that sanctuary cities and states are a good thing to have? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. I'm having a really hard time seeing how a sanctuary city or state would be good. But hey, if I'm wrong, you guys let me know. Or Am I correct here? Sanctuary states, sanctuary cities are a no-go. 35% increase in the illegal alien and criminal alien arrest rate is a good thing. I want it to be more. Let's get all the criminal aliens up out of here. The illegal aliens too, if we could have it. But like I said, we got to be realistic. The criminal aliens, if you're over here hurting people, killing people, selling drugs, pimping women, you got to go. It is what it is. Like, you're not even really trying to just kind of be up under the radar. If you're an illegal, why would you bring any kind of static to yourself? It doesn't make any sense. But then again, it does if you are a criminal, if you're a gangbanger and you came here for that particular reason, or if you grew into that while you were here in the States, probably around other criminal aliens that were gangbanging before you. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.